Hi there, very good morning. Welcome to ET. Now you're watching Market Café with me, Kanushka Sarkar and Srishti Sharma. Over the next 1 hour, we'll take you through all the domestic and global cues that you need to watch out for and also tell you about the stocks that you need to keep on your radar today. But let's get started with an eye on the globe. Srishti, it's the Diwali season and those crackers, if you know of rockets, when you light it up, you don't know whether it's really going to go up or it'll just be there only. Yeah. That's exactly the case with US markets. One day they are going up and one day we are like, we don't know what happened over there. That's exactly what happened yesterday.
Quite interesting how you really match the festive with the US markets. But yes, just yesterday we saw that.
Absolutely, exactly. So US markets, did end on a mixed note on Wednesday. That is overnight. As solid earnings from major banks, they helped offset the ongoing trade and political worries. Now, the S&P 500, that rose about 0.4%, whereas the Nasdaq Composite, that added about 0.7%, whereas the Dow Jones Industrial Average, that closed just below the flat line. The Russell 2000, the small cap index, that also saw a new high. That is yesterday. In fact, in futures trading that we saw overnight, Dow futures were up about 0.2%. The S&P 500 futures gained 0.1%, whereas the Nasdaq, Nasdaq futures, that is, they rose about 0.2%. That, of course, is showing a cautious but steady tone heading into today's trading session later today. In fact, in after hours, JB Hunt Transport, that jumped more than 11% after topping Wall Street estimates in terms of earnings. Salesforce, that rose about 3% following an upbeat forecast at its annual Dreamforce conference. Meanwhile, United Airlines, however, that slipped 2% after its revenue disappointed. Volatility, that has ticked higher. That's the key to watch in the US markets, with the VIX closing at 20.6 level as renewed US-China trade tensions, they have added to the pressure. In fact, markets have been on edge since US President Donald Trump threatened to ban cooking oil imports from China and floated that 100% tariff on Chinese goods in response to Beijing's new export controls on rare earth metals. Meanwhile, of course, the US government shutdown, that has been continuing and it has entered its third week, delaying key economic data and heightening uncertainty as investors already are weighing high interest rates and elevated market valuations. Now, analysts say that the market's rally, that remains intact but increasingly narrow. So that's how the US markets have panned, Srishti. But how are things on the crude front?
Quite interesting, Kanushka. Yes, of course, the biggest headline that we are tracking is Trump's commentary on India. Not maybe going ahead and buying Russian oil, but we'll talk about that. But firstly, with respect to the movement on the crude oil prices, as of now, not much movement is what we are getting to see. US futures are trading absolutely flat right now. Other than that, Brent oil prices, if we talk about that, then that is hovering around that $62 per barrel mark, while the WTI as well is trading absolutely flat. And of course, we have seen crude rebounding from its 5-month low levels. But other than that, it's the gold prices that are definitely continuing their record run, trading well above that $4,200 per dollar mark for themselves. But